Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be talking about closing accounts. So some of you might have picked up some tips and tricks from some of my other videos and got excited and a little bit overzealous. And I've gotten a couple of messages with people complaining saying, hey, I got to close this account or I closed this account and my credit score went down. Well, then I ask, what account did you close? Why did you close the account? What's the purpose? What's your reasoning? You got to pick and choose and you got to be strategic. It's checkers. No, it's not checkers. It's chess. You can't just close accounts because you feel like it. It's there specifically for a reason. And what a lot of you neglect to realize is that there is history involved with the account. So I made the same mistake years ago. I had a Visa. I put a secured deposit down on this Visa after messing up my first credit card. But anyway, I digress. So I had this card. I had a CIBC credit card. That's the one I messed up. But so I ended up having to put down money with Home Trust Visa and get a secured credit card. And I used it and everything was good and well. But I didn't know anything. I didn't know jack about credit. And so after about a year or two, I decided to close it. That was in like 2005. Wasn't it 2005? No, I think it was, yeah, something like that. Anyway, imagine if I had still kept that card from 2005 to now. So I had it for a couple of years prior to closing it. So then that card would have been active for almost 20 years. And I would have had like 20 years of credit history. I mean, I don't believe I would have messed it up between now and then, but let's just assume that I didn't make any mistakes again and I had that card in good standing and whatever from then till now. That would have been 20 years of positive credit history that I didn't screw up or didn't lose. So even if that card was only worth $1,000, it's 20 years of history on that $1,000 account. And in many things and in many instances, there is a saying, you can't buy time. Like we say this in investments, unless you're talking about an investment that involves compounding interest, but that's a whole other issue. But we can always get into that another time. But anyhow, you can't buy the time, right? If you take that card and take it all out of your credit bureau report, then you're losing the opportunity to maintain good credit and have the positive credit history bolster your credit score and keep your credit score level or push it up higher based on what your credit mix is at the time, say 20 years later, right? So think of your revolving accounts, think of your installment accounts. Your installment accounts have a beginning and an end date, right? So you're eventually going to pay off that car. You're eventually going to pay off the mortgage. You're eventually going to pay off that loan for whatever it is that you got, right? So, but your credit cards, your lines of credit, they're constantly, perpetually moving. They're in perpetual motion, albeit revolving each month, where you put money down, you take money out, you keep putting money down, you keep putting money down, you keep putting money on it, and it accumulates until it gets back to the original balance, right? But the fact of the matter is, these accounts are with you. And they are your friends if you treat them like your friends. And there's no need to go and pull an account off of your credit bureau report via a dispute or by going and closing a credit card account, closing a line of credit, unless there's a very, very good reason. And there's seldom a good reason to close an account that you've had for years and years and years, which you've paid on time, and there are no registered late payments or anything of the sort. There's no impropriety, there's no issues with it, right? So you want to make sure that when you have these accounts and you keep them in good standing, you keep them because they help you, especially later on. As some of your installment accounts age and end up being paid off, you're left with a certain set of credit mix, right? So you're left with a lot of revolving accounts, but if these revolving accounts are in good standing and they've aged well and they have a lot of positive credit history behind you, they definitely help you out. So people will make the mistake of saying, oh, well, you know what? This bank pissed me off, so I'm going to go and cancel this. I'm going to close this card. I'll show them. You're showing them, but shooting yourself in the foot. You're not showing them anything. Remember, you're just one of many. So remember, you need them more than they need you. And as much as, you know, people like to think that they're special and stuff like that. Yes, I know we all are special in our own ways, but the fact of the matter is, when it comes to a revolving account, you have to remember, think of this account. Whatever the credit card, you got the limit, whatever that is, say it's 5,000, 10,000, you close that account, you're minimizing your credit cap. You're minimizing the amount of credit with which you have to draw upon each month or at any point in time, right? You cancel that credit card or that line of credit, it's just that much harder to obtain a line of credit or a credit card later on down the road, should you need to and when you want to. Remember the old saying? Remember what I usually say? Lenders and banks are more apt to give you money if you look like you don't need it, as opposed to when you do need it, because you don't want to go around looking thirsty. It's always better if they offer it to you rather than you go beg for it. And based on your credit profile and based on your credit score and stuff, normally these institutions will offer that stuff to you. So don't just go off disputing everything. Don't go getting all emotional and stuff and saying, you know, I'm going to close this credit card, I'm going to close this line of credit just because. If you don't have a specific and good enough reason to do so, then don't, because you're going to mess up those numbers. Remember the 3 numbers that are important. Remember your credit score. Remember your credit capacity, because that's your amount of credit that you have available to you, right? And the years that you've had that particular account. Because if you end up closing your oldest account, that doesn't help you. Your score is definitely going to go down. All right? Please feel free to ask any questions. If you have any comments, share this with your friends. And if you have found value and you found some good tips and importance and this resonated with you, please feel free to like, share, and all that good stuff. All right? My name's Ryan Hamer, and have a good one.